My oldest pair of bike shoes are kind of starting to wear out. This one in particular won't be too long for the world before I can't use them anymore. They've done a good long job. They're a big brand, Shimano, but you can see they're kind of dilapidated, and when that starts tearing, it's going to be history. I do have another pair, a newer pair up north, but I want to have two pairs. I don't want to be stuck with one pair of bike shoes. If you're getting really sweaty one day and you want to go do a little biking the next day, I don't want to have to wear the same shoes. And different fits and stuff like that. It's nice to have two. So I bought these Venzos through eBay, I believe. I'll put a link down in Kit eventually. Well, it's been kind of a mixed bag. The pedals, one thing I do like is they got a reflector on them, which my other ones that I just bought didn't. But the other ones on the surface side had a rubber pad, where these don't. They have fairly sharp teeth, which actually is good because that'll hold onto a shoe. So that's not all bad. But the bearing is really tough. It's worse than the other one. Stiffer. I hope they loosen up. The other ones did seem to loosen up a little bit. This seems okay, I guess. Is there a spring mechanism here? There better be. Has to be. Usually the spring mechanism is adjustable. Yeah, there's a mechanism in there. It looks pretty tough though. You can't set pretty tight. But yeah, that bearing, I'm going to couple it to the camera and see if I can couple the noise through here. That's me turning the bearing. The problem is these shoes fit a little bit tight. These are 47s. It's hard to get shoes above 46s Euro size. They're usually almost always Euro size when you buy bike shoes. And getting Euro sizes that are extra wide or that are longer than a 46 are pretty tough to do. Usually they stop at 46 when they're Euro sized, and I almost never see wides. And unfortunately these are built pretty narrow. Usually I can squeeze into a Euro 46 a lot of times. These are 47s. I wouldn't want to get 48s because it'd be too long. The length works pretty well with these. They're just very tight for me widthwise. I'm trying to see if they're going to give a little bit as I use them. I'm probably going to keep them. It's a hassle to send anything back, but I'm debating that at this moment. The tongue is kind of narrow on them. Well, it's kind of odd. It's thin and I kind of have to reach in here and tuck it in because it was sticking out between the Velcro and the outside of the shoe here. I'm finding myself having to kind of tuck them in a little bit. Hopefully, as I wear them and they get used to my size and everything, I wouldn't have to do that again. Kind of odd. They do fit my length pretty well. And now that I've got my hand in there and stretching them out a little, they aren't really bothering me in the width too much. Well, I guess they're going to work. And hopefully the pedals will loosen up. Pedals aren't going to go on a best bike anyway. They're going to go on one of my cheaper bikes. I got too many bikes, unfortunately. I'm going to have to... so I should almost question whether I should buy another set of pedals, but I really bought it for the shoes. I'm going to have to get rid of some of my bikes when I consolidate my two addresses here shortly. Hopefully within a month or two. Anyways, I think they're a keeper at this point. They're not really feeling bad at all for bike shoes. Now the point of a bike shoe is that they're stiff. See, and this shoe barely flexes. You can see it's starting to break down a little here because that's the only place it does flex. But the idea is to have a stiff arch. You know, so that when you push down, you're not just pushing down a little pedal, you're pushing down this whole surface. So it's spreading the weight out across your foot instead of letting it concentrate into the pedal. And these are just as stiff or stiffer. These are kind of nice because they don't flex in one spot like the Shimano's did. These kind of flex uniformly across the whole sole, which I do like. They're pretty darn stiff. The flex they do have is distributed. And they did come with cleats as well. And these cleats are higher quality than the other ones I got with the other shoes. These are real nice cleats. Tell by the shape of them and all. Little grippies on them. These are probably the nicest cleats I've seen. I don't know if you can see through the plastic, but there's like little textured grippies popping through. And they got the secondary rings like most of them have, and a little well. Most of them have that feature. That's nice though. The cleats look good. So I've already put the cleat on the one shoe here, put it on nice and tight, so I hope I got it in a good position. So I'm aiming for the ball of my foot, maybe just north of the ball of my foot. Like the center of the ball of my foot, maybe just a little ahead of that. I'm going to try to do the same thing here. I didn't have to pull out the liner like I would in some shoes and put this stuff in, like washers and these little nuts, because they already have these like double set in here. I'm going to choose the lower set, and I moved them up and down. They moved kind of tough, but I moved them up and down. They didn't supply a Allen wrench, so I had to find my own here, but you could use that to push them up and down. So I'm using the lower set, and there's this little washer type thing here, this double washer. It's got insets on it, so it's all done nicely here. And I'm biasing them a little bit to the inside, in fact as far as I can go towards the inside, because my feet are wide, and I'm going to balloon out on this side a little bit. Wide, long feet, and I don't want to interfere with the shaft of the crank. And I'll make these pretty much as tight as I can get them. Try to get them nice and even. Not as tight as I can get them, but you know, nice and tight, nice and snug. As tight as I can get them reasonably. I could break them, I'm sure, if I tighten up too tight. But until I got them both a good firm tightness on both of them, that's even. Going back and forth, you know, until they're even. That's pretty good. So that's on like a brick-ass house. In fact, I was going to clean these, get the any kind of lube off of them. That might be residual oil off of them, so they'd lock better on their own. And then maybe even apply Loctite. I'll see if they stay stuck by themselves. A lot of times they'll loosen up. These ones don't loosen up anymore because they're old and they're kind of corrosion locked. Or maybe I did Loctite them, I don't know. But I'll have to take these for a test drive and see if they loosen up at all. If so, I may have to come back and Loctite them. So these are a bit narrow for me, but I think they're going to work. You have to have bike shoes fit your foot tightly anyway. You want to be able to pull upwards on the crank. That's the whole point of, you know, bike shoes and all that. So this, you don't want a whole lot of give in this. You want a nice, good upper that's quality made. And this looks like it'll hold up. All depends how good this material holds up. Synthetic material, who knows? Could go either way. They weren't super expensive shoes, and especially when you consider they're including the cranks. I think they were 60 something. Venzo. Pedals, not impressive. They'll work for one of my lesser bikes. Or maybe even in, well, it's controversial. If I get an e-bike, I may use them on that since I don't need efficiency. You really shouldn't use pedals that can lock onto your feet on an e-bike, though. There's pros and cons on the safety on that, of course. It does help you keep in control and not slip off accidentally. Go either way, but you got to be able to get off quick in an accident, you know, or if you want to abandon your bike. It gets to be a reflex action when you're snapped in. You just jolt out your ankle real quick and you pop right out. So that's got to be second nature. And even when you're coming to a stop, you usually free one foot up, you know, whichever foot you think you're going to put down when you come to the stop. So you do have to think about it. You get in trouble when you first put cleats on and you're not used to them and you're not thinking about it. You know, when you come to a stop and all of a sudden you need to put your foot down and you can't because it's attached to your pedal and you panic instead of just thinking and going down, you know, that's long enough for you to fall over. So there's a learning curve, cleats. Pretty steep one at that. The last thought is I only use mountain bike type pedals, even in shoes, even on my road bike. If you're really trying to save every little fraction of an ounce, then yeah, you'd probably want to go with the road stuff. But the road pedals are, lighter, of course, but you would never have a combo pedal like this for lightweight, of course. But the shoes don't have any guard around the cleat like mountain pedals typically do. So when you're walking on them bare, there's no, it's bare minimum material, and the cleat just sticks right out. So you're gouging whatever you walk on. If you walked on someone's wooden floor, you'd be gouging it, if you were carelessly tapping around. So these give you a little more traction. They have a raised heel, raised surface, give you some traction to walk around on. Whereas the road types aren't for walking around at all. You pretty much got to take them off when you land. But I tried these cleats and shoes on one of my bicycles real briefly. It's because it's dark out already, but I rode around a little bit. They worked out fine. Oh, wait a minute, I got one in backwards. I gotta flip this one around. Still worked anyway though, they're almost symmetrical, but I'll flip that one. Go in a little easier. I didn't even notice that. But anyway, it worked out. They both clipped in, even the backwards one. I'll flip that one around. And I just tried the pedals, laid them down on the carpet, and stepped into them with each of the shoes, and they work. And I used to adjust tension on them. They're pretty tight. But that's my thought on that. I use the mountain bike grade gear, even on my lighter bikes. That way I'm consistent too. I don't have to have different gear for different bikes. It's kind of a one-trick pony here. And as soon as I finished, the refrigerator finally shut off.